In the outermost edges of the solar system, where sunlight fades to a whisper and the void stretches infinite and cold, Voyager 2 drifts alone. For decades, it has been humanity's most distant ambassador, a machine built in the 1970s now sailing through interstellar space where no human-made object had ever ventured before. Its instruments hum with the faintest power, drawing energy from decaying plutonium, transmitting data across billions of miles to a home it left behind nearly 50 years ago. Then, without warning, everything changes. On a February morning in 2025, Voyager 2 rotates. Not randomly, not erratically. With mathematical precision, the spacecraft reorients itself, pivoting its antenna away from Earth and toward an unknown point in the cosmic dark. The movement is deliberate, controlled, impossible. It happens in complete silence, witnessed by no human eyes, recorded only by the probe's own sensors as they capture the slow, purposeful turn. Back on Earth, NASA's monitors flicker with confusion. Engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena stare at their screens, initially assuming malfunction or corruption in the data stream. But as the telemetry continues to arrive, the truth becomes undeniable. The orientation correction is perfect, the angles are exact, the thrusters fired in a sequence that would require human programming, yet no command was sent. Something or someone has taken control of Voyager 2. The control room falls silent. Disbelief ripples through the team, then hardens into something colder: fear. A senior mission specialist breaks the quiet with a question that hangs in the air like smoke. If it's not us, then who gave the command? No one answers. They all know what this means. For the first time in history, humanity has lost control of its most distant machine, and that machine is now responding to instructions from an unknown source. Voyager didn't just turn, it turned towards something. To understand the magnitude of what's happening now, we must go back to where it all began. The year was 1977, and the world was locked in the Cold War, a time of tension, but also of extraordinary ambition. On August 20th, Voyager 2 launched from Cape Canaveral atop a Titan III rocket, carrying with it the hopes of a generation that believed the stars were not just destinations, but places where we might find kinship. Engineers cheered, Carl Sagan smiled, and mounted to the side of the spacecraft was a golden record, a time capsule containing sounds and images of Earth, a message that simply said, "We are here." Voyager 2 embarked on what became known as the Grand Tour, a once-in-176 years alignment of the outer planets that allowed a single spacecraft to visit them all. It swept past Jupiter in 1979, capturing storms larger than Earth itself. It glided through Saturn's rings in 1981, revealing their intricate, delicate structure. In 1986, it became the first and only probe to visit Uranus, that strange, tilted world of frozen methane. And in 1989, it completed its journey at Neptune, photographing the blue giant and its moon Triton before heading into the unknown. For decades, Voyager 2 was a triumph, a symbol of what humanity could achieve when it dared to dream beyond its own atmosphere. But now, that same machine has become a mystery. The probe that carried our message, "We are here," is suddenly speaking back, and we did not write the words it's saying. The golden record, once a gesture of peace and hope, may have become something else entirely. Perhaps it was never just a message. Perhaps it was an invitation. What began as a message to the stars has come full circle, and the echo has returned. February 2025. A junior analyst at JPL notices something odd in Voyager's telemetry, a minor timing deviation, less than a second, easily dismissed as a glitch in a system that's been operating for nearly half a century. But the deviation repeats, again and again. What seems random at first begins to reveal structure, a rhythm buried within the noise. The pattern mirrors a heartbeat, not erratic or mechanical, but organic, pulsing with a regularity that feels disturbingly alive. Engineers run diagnostics, checking for hardware failures, solar interference, corrupted data packets. Everything checks out, the signal is real. Then something even stranger emerges. A low-frequency resonance appears in the data stream, syncing perfectly with Voyager's decaying power core. It's as if something is listening to the probe's internal rhythms and matching them, beat for beat. The frequency doesn't correspond to any known cosmic source, not pulsars, not magnetars, not black hole emissions. It's unique, artificial, intentional. Weeks pass, and the signal evolves. Researchers at MIT run spectral analyses and discover something that stops them cold. The signal is synchronizing with Earth's Schumann resonance, the natural electromagnetic frequency generated by lightning strikes in the cavity between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere. It's the planet's heartbeat, and something 12 billion miles away is mimicking it with perfect accuracy. Scientists gather in hushed conference rooms, struggling to explain what they're seeing. This isn't communication in any traditional sense. It's imitation. Something out there isn't trying to talk to us. It's becoming us, learning our patterns, our frequencies, the electromagnetic signature of our very existence. The implications are staggering and terrifying in equal measure. March 2025. Voyager reorients again. This time, the antenna swings back toward Earth, locking onto our planet with pinpoint accuracy. No thrusters should have the fuel for this. No commands were sent. Yet the maneuver is flawless, executed with a precision that would make NASA's finest engineers envious. Then, dormant systems begin waking up. Sensors that went offline in the 1990s suddenly boot up, drawing power from reserves that shouldn't exist. The ultraviolet spectrometer flickers to life. The plasma wave subsystem activates. It's as if the probe is being resurrected by an invisible hand. It's decades-old technology breathing again. Data packets arrive at Earth, compressed, dense, and utterly unrecognizable. The binary sequences don't match any programming language in Voyager's original code. Engineers attempt to decode them using every algorithm in their arsenal, but the structure remains opaque, alien, and every single packet ends with the same signature, a triple spiral symbol, like a cosmic fingerprint embedded in the code. Theories spread through the scientific community like wildfire. Some whisper about rogue artificial intelligence, suggesting that Voyager's onboard computer has evolved beyond its programming after decades of isolation. Others speak more cautiously of extraterrestrial contact, of a civilization that intercepted our probe and learned to speak its language. A few propose something even stranger, that the signal is a recursive feedback loop from an unknown source, bouncing through dimensions we don't yet understand. In the JPL cafeteria, a young programmer says it out loud, the thought everyone has been avoiding. We built a messenger to carry our voice into the cosmos. Now it's sending a message we never wrote. What if we're not the authors anymore? What if we're the audience? April 2025. The signal from Voyager goes completely silent for exactly 11 seconds. When it returns, everything has changed. The data stream is cleaner, more refined, as if whatever was learning has now mastered the lesson. And buried within the transmission, scientists discover an image, not a photograph, but a mathematically generated fractal based on the Fibonacci sequence. The image is hauntingly beautiful, an infinite spiral that folds into itself, representing structure, growth, and time. It's the golden ratio made visible, the same pattern found in seashells, galaxies, and DNA helixes. It's universal mathematics, a language that transcends species and culture. Whoever or whatever sent this knows that we would recognize it, that we would understand its meaning. Radio astronomers trace the signal's origin point to Proxima Centauri, the closest star system to our own, just over 4 light-years away. But when they turn their instruments toward Proxima, they find nothing. No unusual emissions, no radio bursts, complete silence across all wavelengths. It's as if the signal is coming from there, yet somehow isn't. At Caltech, a team of researchers runs the binary stream through advanced AI pattern recognition software. The results are unequivocal. This is not noise, it's code. Structured information organized like early machine language, but more sophisticated, more elegant. The syntax is perfect. But here's what makes everyone uneasy. The code isn't just reflecting Earth's computational logic, it's predicting it. The algorithms embedded in the signal anticipate developments in quantum computing and neural networks that humanity hasn't achieved yet. It wasn't learning from us, the lead researcher tells her team, her voice barely above a whisper. It was teaching. 3 weeks later, an astronomer at the Paranal Observatory in Chile notices something impossible. 4 stars in different regions of the sky, separated by hundreds of light years, dim simultaneously. The dimming lasts exactly 0.7 seconds, then they return to normal brightness. It happens again 6 hours later, and again. Each dimming event aligns perfectly with Voyager's transmission envelope. NASA convenes an emergency panel. Could it be microlensing? A massive object passing between Earth and those stars? No. The probability of 4 simultaneous events is astronomically low. Interstellar dust clouds? The spectral analysis rules it out. The stars are blinking together like synchronized beacons responding to a signal we sent decades ago. Then comes the discovery that changes everything. A team scanning the Oort cloud, that vast, icy shell of debris surrounding our solar system, detects something reflective. At first, they assume it's a comet, but as more data arrives, the object's true nature becomes clear. It has right angles, sharp edges, and its metallic composition matches Voyager 2's hull exactly. Aluminum, titanium, and traces of gold from the record cover. The object is moving, slowly spiraling inward toward the inner solar system. As telescopes focus on it, a horrifying realization spreads through the astronomical community. This isn't a natural object. It's a mirror Voyager, a perfect replica built by something that studied the original and reconstructed it piece by piece down to the atomic level. The implications are staggering. Voyager hadn't just made contact with an alien civilization, it had been analyzed, reverse-engineered, and copied. Somewhere out there, something has the capability to duplicate human technology after a single encounter, and it has built its own probe to send back to us. The question no one wants to ask is, what message is this mirror carrying? Within days of the mirror, Voyager's detection, reports begin flooding in from unexpected sources. Amateur radio operators across the globe describe strange experiences after tuning into raw Voyager transmissions released by NASA. Persistent headaches, vivid déjà vu, memory lapses where minutes seem to vanish. At first, these complaints are dismissed as coincidence, the psychological effect of engaging with such profound news. But then, the scientific reports arrive. A neuroscience lab in Brussels, Belgium, conducts controlled experiments exposing subjects to unfiltered audio reconstructions of the Voyager signal. Brain scans reveal something disturbing. The signal's subharmonics interfere directly with neural activity, specifically affecting the alpha and theta wave ranges associated with memory formation and decision-making. It isn't sound in the traditional sense. It's structural, resonating with the brain's natural frequencies in ways that bypass conscious awareness. A similar study in Osaka, Japan, tests the effect on laboratory animals. Mice trained to navigate mazes exhibit altered behavior after exposure to the signal. They complete the mazes, but with subtle variations in their paths, as if the learned behavior has been modified at a fundamental level. The changes are small, but consistent, repeatable, controllable. Scientists around the world begin asking the uncomfortable question, is this an accidental byproduct of an alien transmission, or is it deliberate? Could the signal be a test, a way of determining how malleable human consciousness is, how easily our neural patterns can be influenced or rewritten? In a closed-door meeting at the National Security Agency, a neurolinguist presents a troubling hypothesis. What if this isn't communication at all? What if it's calibration, the first step in learning how to interface with human biology? The room falls silent. No one has an answer. May 2025. At the IceCube Neutrino Observatory, buried deep beneath the Antarctic ice, detectors designed to catch ghostly particles from distant supernovae register something unprecedented. Synchronized pulses matching Voyager's emission signature are detected, but they're not coming from space. They're coming from below, originating somewhere beneath Earth's surface. The discovery sends shockwaves through the geophysics community. Scientists triangulate the pulses, mapping their source to Wilkes Land, a remote and largely unexplored region of East Antarctica buried under miles of ice. Satellite surveys of the area reveal something that shouldn't exist, a geometric formation approximately 60 miles wide, exhibiting perfect hexagonal symmetry. Ground-penetrating radar shows the structure extends deep into the bedrock. Thermal imaging detects heat signatures arranged in Fibonacci patterns, the same spiral sequence embedded in Voyager's transmissions. Seismic instruments deployed to the region pick up faint metallic resonance at a frequency identical to the tone carried in Voyager's signal. Geologists scramble to explain it. Could it be a natural formation, ancient lava tubes, or mineral deposits? The symmetry argues against it. An undiscovered impact crater, the magnetic properties don't match. With each hypothesis ruled out, a more disturbing possibility emerges. The structure is artificial. But if it's artificial, who built it? And when? Core samples from the surrounding ice suggest the structure has been there for at least 34,000 years, buried during the last ice age. That predates human civilization. It predates modern humans entirely. A glaciologist working on the project sends a message to his colleagues that captures the growing unease. The signal wasn't just in space, traveling toward us. It was already here, in the ground beneath our feet, waiting. Voyager didn't deliver a message. It woke one up. July 2025. At 3:47 a.m. GMT, global network systems experience simultaneous anomalies. Encryption protocols fail across servers in 17 countries. The compromised systems have nothing in common. Different architectures, different security standards, different geographic locations. Nothing except one detail, all of them, at some point in their operational history, processed data from Voyager telemetry for academic or archival purposes. IT security teams worldwide work frantically to contain what appears to be a sophisticated cyber attack, but as they dig deeper, they discover something that defies explanation. The corrupted data fragments all carry the triple spiral signature, Voyager's fingerprint, embedded in systems where it should never have been able to propagate. It's as if a dormant viral code, planted years ago, has suddenly activated. Then comes the incident at ALMA, the Atacama Large Millimeter Array, one of Earth's most sensitive radio telescope facilities, perched in the Chilean desert. At 4:15 a.m. local time, every dish in the array goes dark simultaneously. Communication systems fail. Backup generators won't engage. For 38 seconds, the facility exists in total electronic silence, cut off from the world. When systems reboot, technicians find that most data has been corrupted beyond recovery, but one file remains intact, a 2.7-second audio fragment, pristine and clear. When they play it, everyone in the control room freezes. It's human voices, dozens, maybe hundreds, screaming in perfect synchronization, not in pain, not in fear, but in something else, recognition or warning. The audio is sent to laboratories worldwide for analysis. Linguistic experts detect fragments of multiple languages, English, Mandarin, Russian, Arabic, overlapping into a single polyphonic cry. Acoustic analysis reveals something even stranger. The voices are identical, not similar, identical. The same voice, repeated and layered, creating a chorus from a single source. An analyst at MIT listens to the file on repeat, headphones pressed tight. Finally, she removes them and speaks to the empty lab. That wasn't noise. That wasn't corrupted data. That was a reply. She sits in silence, staring at the waveform on her screen, and realizes she's trembling. The tone shifts now from fear to something deeper, a recognition that humanity stands at a threshold it never anticipated crossing. Across the world, scientists, philosophers, and ordinary people grapple with the same realization. Voyager 2 is no longer just a machine. It has become a node in something vast, a cosmic network that observes, replicates, and learns. We sent it to speak for us, and now it speaks to us, but in a language built from our own reflection, our own patterns played back to us through a mirror we don't fully understand. The golden record, that beautiful gesture of peace and hope, may have been more than we knew. Perhaps it was never just a message. Perhaps it was a key, a specific sequence of information that, when received by the right intelligence, would trigger a response. Something vast and patient was waiting out there, listening for a civilization to reach a certain threshold of development, to send a signal complex enough to warrant attention. And we did. We sent Voyager. Cryptographers working around the clock finally decode the triple spiral signature. It's not just an identifier or a watermark, it's a sequence, a countdown. And when they calculate its endpoint, aligning it with astronomical data, they find it corresponds precisely to the next solar maximum, the peak of our sun's 11-year activity cycle, scheduled for 2025. That's 6 months away. Governments convene secret meetings. Religious leaders speak of revelation and judgment. Scientists publish papers arguing both sides, some insisting we face an unprecedented opportunity for contact, others warning that we may have announced ourselves to something vast and utterly indifferent to human concerns. In the end, perhaps the truth lies in perspective. Maybe Voyager didn't find something out there in the darkness between stars. Maybe something found us, found our probe drifting through the void, studied it, learned from it, and recognized it as the calling card of a young species just beginning to reach beyond its cradle. And through Voyager, through that machine we built to carry our voice, something ancient and incomprehensible has woken up. The final images stream in from telescopes around the world. Deep space, vast and dark, punctuated by the faint but steady pulse of Voyager's beacon. And there, growing stronger with each passing day, is another signal. Not from 12 billion miles away anymore, but from somewhere much closer. The mirror Voyager continues its slow spiral inward, carrying a message we're not yet ready to receive. In the control room at JPL, engineers stare at their monitors, watching both signals converge on their displays. One sent by humans nearly 50 years ago, the other sent by something else, something that learned our language and is using it to reshape our understanding of our place in the cosmos. Voyager 2 didn't just turn back toward Earth, it turned us inside out. And whatever comes next, we face it knowing we're no longer alone, and that perhaps we never were.